Hi, I'm Liz Larson, back with some cake decorating basics. Today we're going to have a lot of fun with a mini wedding cake. I can't wait to show you guys the little pans that I bought, and we're going to go over some fun techniques with mums and cascades. Let's get started. So, I've been around cake decorating stuff a really long time, and I don't get too excited about too many cake decorating products. But we went to a store and they had these adorable tiny pans. I was just compelled to buy them. I just had to have them. They're the cutest thing ever. So I had to figure out something to do with them so I could show you. So we decided to do this mini wedding cake, which I think is just adorable. So I have stacked and doweled and iced my little mini wedding cakes. They really were not easy to ice, being so tiny. I iced them and then I stacked them together. If you want to know how to do this process, watch our video on how to stack a wedding cake. You'll see exactly how I did this, just on a little larger scale. I'm going to start at the base here, and what I want to do is actually create a little width at the bottom because we're a little Leaning Tower of Pisa look here. So what I want to do is create a garland, but on my plate. So I'm going to use my number 23 tip, and I'm going to start doing a really tight zigzag. Let it build thicker and thicker at the middle and come back in. And I'm going to do that all the way around so that I can create myself a nice wide base. You can see at this point they look a little U shape, just like they would on the side of a cake. But instead here we're going to use it for the base. Now with this technique we can use many layers on top of it to create all different kind of effects. I don't want to get too carried away because it is a tiny cake, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of color. So I'm going to come back in with my rose tip and come around like that. This is just a U shape, a nice even squeeze. I'm turning my turntable. So we've created quite a base there at the bottom. Next, because this is so tiny, I'm just going to use my bag here and cut off the end. It would be about the same as using a number 4 writer. And I want to create really petite borders because we don't want to overwhelm. I'm just going to use a bead here. It's basically a shell. And just come all the way around with this fine bead. And I'm going to do it on the next layer too. Next I want to cover my edge here. And what I want to do is create a little reverse shell. So use your reverse shell technique, but with just your little writer, you want to be careful to keep it nice and petite. One on top, one below. One on top, one below. And neat at the edge. Next, in the middle layer, I want to use a little bit of a scroll. So with this, you just alternate up and down. So next I want to start placing my mums. And I'm going to use this opportunity to teach you how to actually do a cascade. And with a cascade, and I'm going to start here where my border is just a little bit irregular. This is where flowers are really come in great. I'm going to cover that up. So I'm going to start with my biggest mum at the base. Now this really could be done to be in a little more proportion with a number 104. but I actually wanted the contrast. I think this would be a really fun cake for a quinceañera or a shower or even a little girl's birthday. So a wedding cake might be done with slightly softer colors. Well, maybe not though. Maybe you've got a really daring bride. So you're going to start with your first flower, biggest flower at the base. And your next flower can be pretty close to the same size. And we're kind of going to stack them. But we need to be careful we need to be careful about the angle. So this one's going to come on top of that flower and just a little above, and I'm actually digging my scissors slightly into the cake to get the angle that I want there. Now from here, I don't want such big flowers and I don't want so much weight, but I still want my cascade. So what I'm going to do is about a half a mum. So the first, second, and third layers only. And I'm going to place that one here at the edge. Again, digging in just a little bit to get the right angle. Now we're going to fill in here a little bit with some mums that we're going to pipe right on. So don't worry about it looking a little thin. Now I'm going to move up to my top. So I'm going to come around to about here and place my top flower. And then my next flower is going to go on the next cake down. I'm trying to create balance here, but also create a structure that I can get my flowers placed on in a nice and sturdy way, so they're not going to come flying off. So about here. Now, the other thing that this does for me is it gives me a variation in color as I'm moving up. When I refill my bag, I'll add a little more white and I'll get a little more variation all the way around. I'm going to now start to judge the size of the flower, and you really kind of have to see where it's going to fit and where it's going to be stable. Next, I think I'm going to put this one right about here. Dig into the side just a little and twist my scissors to make sure I'm nice and stable. There we go. Here is where I want to start to show you some of the piped on mums for fill-in, so that you don't have mums falling off the side of my cake. I'm going to use the same petal, just pipe it right on, and another layer right over that. Let's do it again, only this time I'll show you down here. A little bit bigger petals down below, kind of a fan. Another layer on top, and one more on top. I've adjusted my angle, about like that. And I will begin to fill in with piped on mums of varying sizes to round out my cascade. We'll do that on both sides. Now, as I get to the top, I want one that comes down. So I'm changing my angle slightly. And we need one more little one here. Remember too, we want to leave a little bit of room for leaves. And I'm going to finish up my top. I want to make sure that I have 3 flowers at least on top. Or if I had made one large enough for this little tiny cake, it could have been just one. But you want to make sure you have great balance. See how I'm getting more pastel pinks to soften up my harsher orange and pink. Now I'm getting even softer pastel, which is exactly what I want. This is really a great lesson in variegation. Get right in there and place. I'm going to finish up my cascade. Before I do, I want to share a little trick. I've got some parchment paper here filled with some green and some white, and I want to cut a V into the end of it. And I am going to use that as my leaf tip. So it makes a nice fine leaf. You just come in here behind, use a zigzag, release and pull, and you've got a nice fine leaf. Now, of course, you can use a leaf tip, but just for this little bit of green, I thought I would use this trick. And it's a good opportunity to show you how to do it. So as you go up your cascade, judge how large and how small you want your leaves. Make a good balance of small and large, and see where it helps to balance out your cascade. We want to get 3 on the top and 1 in the center. And there's our cascade. And I think to finish out this cake, now that I've looked at it, I think I want to put little rosettes here, just right in this little hole, just to fill in a little bit, something up the side of the cake. I didn't want any more color, and I don't want anything too fancy. So I think that'll finish me out. And there is my mini wedding cake. I hope you enjoyed our mini wedding cake. I had a lot of fun with it. This is a great technique for you decorators who want to try out a design on a wedding cake to make it in mini. It'd also be awesome for a bridal shower or quinceañera or a little girl's birthday. It's a lot of fun either way. You got to give this one a shot. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on my blog, theartoffrosting.blogspot.com. See you again soon.